The next day, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing but leaves, because it was not the season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, "Is it not written, 'My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations'? But you have made it a den of robbers." The chief priests and the teachers of the law heard this and began looking for a way to kill him, for they feared him, because the whole crowd was amazed at his teaching. When evening came, Jesus and his disciples went out of the city. In the morning, as they went along, they saw the fig tree withered from the roots. Peter remembered and said to Jesus, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed has withered."
Mark chapter 11, verses 12 to 21. I'm standing outside the Good and Fair. It's a fairly traded coffee shop here in Bognor Regis on the corner of Lion Street. It's an amazing place, and it's terrific that it's all about making sure that people are not exploited and that those that are doing the work get a fair day's pay for their labours. I'm a big fan of fair trade. In fact, as I record this, we are in Fair Trade Fortnight. Jesus, in our passage today, overturns the money changers' tables and those that are carrying stuff through the temple courts, those who are being exploitative. You see, there's often an imbalance of power, and people are exploiting what's happening by insisting that in the temple only temple money is used, and there's a terrible exchange rate, and the pilgrims coming to the Passover festival needed a sacrifice, but it had to be a perfect one, so they couldn't bring one with them from home, travelling such a long way. However, they were being ripped off, and Jesus is upset about that. He is absolutely disappointed in what is happening. Not only that, it's the space that it's taking place. You see, in the temple, there was an area for the Gentiles, for the non-Jews. There was a court for them, for those that were serious about having a relationship with God and having access to God in prayer. Well, that is the space that they've chosen to use for all of this exploitative business and trade. So Jesus doesn't like that whatsoever. Now, what we've discovered in our passage today is that Mark has very helpfully made a sandwich. He's introduced this subject about this fig tree. He's then told us about Jesus clearing the temple, and then he comes back to the fig tree again. So clearly these ideas are linked. And it's for this reason. Jesus had expectations that by now the people of God, the so-called ones, would be fruitful. And yet, just like this fig tree, they're all show and no substance. It's just leaves on the tree. The leaves indicate there could be fruit there, but there isn't. And this is the only destructive or condemning thing that we hear out of Jesus' lips. He says to the fig tree that it will never produce any fruit. He judges it, which effectively is what he's doing now to the temple. and the old order of things, because the teachers of the law were collaborating in on this. They were probably taking their cut as well. The whole thing was utterly corrupt and abusive. And where there should have been fruit, where there should have been an opportunity to reach out to Gentiles with an opportunity to come into a relationship with God, that wasn't happening. How sad it is when religious people actually don't have a substance. It's very much a superficial, all show and no go kind of relationship. Or as the Americans say, it's all hat and no cattle. How about you? Is your heart to pull up the drawbridge and say, no, this is actually for us? We're going to make it convenient for us, those who are on the inside. Or do you have a heart that the nations, the Gentiles, those who are on the outside will be able to come in and have a relationship with God? Father, thank you so much that Jesus brings about a whole new way of accessing and getting to know you. Thank you that Jesus fulfilled all of the requirements of the temple, that he not only was the priest, he was the perfect sacrifice. And Father, please forgive us if we've ever put off those who are on the outside and made it harder for them because we've insisted on it all being our way and all designed for our needs. May our lives not be all leafy, all show and no substance. May they have real fruit. Amen.